trigger. Now let us go with the after insert trigger. When I say after insert trigger, look at the story. When I say after insert trigger, we have a data, we have name, industry, energy. This is the data what I have. I clicked on save. Now when I click on the save, immediately what happened? Before insert trigger will be ready. The moment I click on the save, before insert trigger will be running, then it is going to save the data to the table. Now in the table, we have some data like name, phone, capital, this is how I have data. The moment you said insert the data was inserted here, capital. Now why? There are some changes which are done by the before insert trigger. After you made an attempt to save the data, before insert trigger fired, then finally what is the data that is inserted? Capital 8888 energy. Now the list of records which are inserted now, the list of new records which are inserted now, records are saved to database. Now what is the record that is saved to database? Capital 8888 energy. What is the record I inserted? Capital 3333 energy. But finally, what is the record that is inserted to database? Capital 8888 energy. Now the record which was successfully inserted, after inserting the data, then a trigger is fired. What is the trigger called? After insert. Then after saving the data to the database, after insert trigger is fired. Now in this after insert trigger, we have two variables, trigger.new, trigger.new. Trigger.new is what? List of records. Which list of record? List of new record which are saved to database. Now trigger.new is list of records which are saved to database. Which records are saved to database now? Capital this record is saved. Trigger.new map. It's a map of ID of the record, comma, record. Now, why are you getting trigger.new map in after insert? Why not in the before insert? We get the ID of the record only after the data is successfully saved. We get the ID of the record only after the record is successfully saved. We get the ID of the record only after the record is successfully saved. In the before insert, record is not saved, so it will not contain any ID. Only after insert, we get the ID of the record. Only after the insert, we get the ID of the record. Only after the insert, we get the ID of the record. So trigger.new map is a map of ID, comma, S object. It is a map of ID, comma, S object. It is a map of ID, comma, S object. Are you getting my point? It is after insert. Record is successfully saved. Because the record was successfully saved, ID will be created. So that ID will be referred with the trigger.new map. Is that was clear? Trigger.new list of record, trigger.new map. It's a map of ID, comma, S object. I hope you are good with this story. Okay. Now, once the records are saved to database, if you want to make any changes, once the records are saved to database, if you want to make any changes, write a SQL query, get the record, make the changes, apply the DML. Because the data is already saved. Once the data is saved to database, if you want any changes to be made, once the data is saved to database, if you want any changes to be made, it is a must that we need to apply SQL query and DML. Once the data is saved to database, if you want to make any changes on the data, write a query, get the data, make the changes, apply DML. I hope you're good with this. Clear for everyone? Once the data is saved to database, if you want to make any changes, we have to write a SQL query, get the data, make the necessary changes. I hope everyone is good with this. Okay. Now let us move on. Right. So what is there in trigger.new? Capital 8888 energy. Now on this trigger.new, can I make changes? Trigger.new. Now A dot rating equal to what? Can I make changes? After the record is inserted on trigger.new, you cannot make a change. Then if you want to make a change, what should I do? You cannot directly make a change on trigger.new. If you want to make a change, what should I do? Account. Account. Where ID in. Write a SQL query, get those records. On this record, you make a change. Directly, you cannot make a change on trigger.new. You can use trigger.new, but you cannot change data in trigger.new. Now, whatever the records that are in trigger.new, you can use them, but you cannot make a change. If you want to make a change, write a SQL query, get the data, then make the change. Are you getting my point here? Whatever the data that is there in trigger.new, I can use it, but I cannot make a change. If you want to make a change, write a SQL query, get the data, then make a change. Write a SQL query, get the data, then make a change. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? Clear, boss?
Hello.
Yes.
Satish, what is the difference whenever selecting the accounts, trigger.new and select statement? Both should be same, right?
Now, trigger.new is a variable. When you say SQL query, we are getting the data from database. Now, after the insertion, trigger.new is only meant for read operation. It is not meant for write. So, if you want to make any write, go to database, get the data, then you make the changes. Trigger.new is only meant for read operation in after insert. After the data is inserted, we can only perform read operation on trigger.new. If you want to make a write, go to the database, get the data from the database. On the data, you can perform a read and write. Got my point? Trigger.new is meant for only
Got it, Satish.
in the after. Okay. Now, let us take a couple of scenarios here. Let me take some business use cases here. Now, my requirement is I have a team. Look at the story. I have an account and account teams. Who can be the owner on the account? Only a single user can be a owner on the account. I cannot make you as a owner on the account. Only a single user will be the owner. Now what happened? I got a requirement like this. I was associated with the TCS company. I am doing a business with the TCS and we are providing a consultants. We are doing a outsourced work and we are Okay, we are also providing some hardware. These are the equipments what we are doing. Now we are doing a lot of business with the TCS. Okay, from TCS, from my company side, from Capital Info, we had Satish, who is a point of contact for TCS. Anything that the people want to communicate, they'll communicate with Satish. Satish was given the responsibility to maintain the customer called TCS. Now we're getting a lot of requirements from the TCS. Now I need to take care about billing, I need to take care about outsourcing, I need to take care about consultings, lot of business. So what happened? I was unable to handle the complete customer by myself. But the point of contact is Satish only. But I was unable to handle the complete customer. So what I have done? I made a team. I formed a team and told Ravi, you take care about billing work. Hari, you take care about agreements. Okay, Praveen, you take care about consulting work. Divya, you take care about outsourcing. So what happened? I formed a team and I assigned a responsibility to everyone to work on it. As a team, we are trying to meet the requirements of the customer. We formed a team. As a team, we are providing required services to the account. So the team is called account team. Now in the account team, whoever is the member, we have members of the account team and they have a roles to play. Who is the owner? Owner is still Satish only. The point of contact with the TCS is Satish only. But I formed a team to render the services to the account. Now the business is too big. Okay, the account is too big. We are getting a lot of business from the account. I alone cannot handle the complete responsibility. So I formed a team and I am delivering the required services to the customer. Now what I want account teams. I want account. Now account team is a child object of account. Account is a standard object. Similarly, we have an object called account team member. Account is a standard object. Account team member is also a standard object. But account team member is a child of account. Account team member is a child of account. When can I create a child? Only when the parent record is there. For the parent record, I can create a child. Am I right? I cannot create a child without parent. First, the parent should be inserted successfully. After the parent is inserted successfully, then only I can form the child. Am I right or wrong? Only the parent should be created successfully. Only after the parent is created successfully, I will go for the child creation. So here, which trigger I have to use? Before or after? After inserting the account, create account team member. Right. Now, again I repeat, if a group of people want to collaborate and deliver the services to the customer, then we form them like a team, which is called account team with the team members. Both of them are what? Standard objects. How do you create? Setup, build, customize, accounts, account teams. Setup, build, customize, accounts, account. It's already enabled for me. You're supposed to enable it. The roles. Now, already a couple of roles are here. It is up to your choice. Now, already some roles are there. If you are happy with those roles, use it. If you are not happy, add your own roles here. It is a pick list. It is a pick list. If you are happy, use the same. If you are not happy, create your own roles. I hope you are good with this. Okay. Now, what is our context now? What is our context? Whenever new account is created, with annual revenue more than 50 lakhs, then create Wilson as account team member and give him the role of account manager. Now, I told you already, boss, at the end of the game, if you are trying to insert a record, trying to create a record, it's a DML. Every S object will have their own fields. In the account team member, which fields are there, if you find out, we can insert the record. Now what we practiced, account we practiced because we know which fields are there in account. Contact we inserted because we know which fields are there. Similarly, account team member is also one of the standard object. If you know which fields are there, we can insert the record into the table. I hope you got the story. So let me give you a context here. Apex trigger. Is it before or after? After. All the now I told we can use the data which is there in trigger.new, but we cannot modify it. We can use the data which is there in trigger.new, but we cannot modify it. First, get all the new records. Second, fetch the user ID of, because I want to make Wilson as account team member. Then take one by one new account, check. Now how do you take it? For account A, accounts. If A dot greater than, if annual revenue is greater than 50 lakhs, what should I do? Create account team. Create Wilson as new account team member. Now I told you already, account team member is a standard object. Account team member. ATM dot which account? A dot ID of the account on which we want the team member. ATM dot ID of the user whom you want to create as team member. Account specify the access level. ATM dot team member role. Role of the team member. Now what I'm doing? If annual revenue is greater than 50 lakhs, create an account team member. On which account you are trying to create, who is the user, what type of access you want to give, what is the role of the account team member, right? Which user, on which record, what is the access, and what type of role we are giving. Then insert ATM. But it is not a good practice to perform DML in a loop. Am I right? There is a reason we have to avoid this. So what I was supposed to do? Team member Themes dot add. Then outside the loop, I am inserting the record. This is how I do. So whenever a new account is created, with annual revenue more than 50 lakh rupees, then create Wilson as a account team member. Now, what is the purpose of this actually? I'll demonstrate the first example. First, let me go to OWDs, sharing settings, edit. What is the OWD I give? What is the OWD I give? OWD we give it as private. When you give the OWD as private, you are unable to see the data. Now go to the Wilson, check out what is the accessibility, accounts, go. Only few records are visible, right? Because we give OWD as private, only few records are visible. Right. Then I'm telling you, whenever a new account is created, who is the user now? Satish. New record is created. Then we have annual revenue. What was that? I created a new account with, look at this, what was that? Wilson was created as a account team member. Now Wilson can see this record, he can perform read operation on this. Is that was clear for everyone? Right? Is that was clear? So what was that? Whenever a new account is created with annual revenue more than 50 lakh rupees, I want to take the support of one more user to handle this customer. Is that was clear for everyone? Right? So what was the concept here?
Yes.
Creating account team member. This will be the context when you are handling with the bigger customer, like when you are handling with a customer who delivers more amount of business to you. Right, Amma? Is that was clear for everyone? Right. Basically, it's a combination of DML. As I told you, all these triggers, batch effects, and everything is only a concept. But at the end of the game, logic should be defined by using your list, set, map, SQL, and DML. These are the 5 concepts which you are supposed to by heart, practice. Rest all is what? Syntax one. Trigger is for me, it's syntax, nothing more than that. But rest all is what? List, set, map. Okay. Let us go to the next context.
Satish, one thing. And the point number 3, whatever you mentioned, like take one by one new account, but at any point of time, we'll get only one account only, right?
No.
Only one record.
See, the point is, every trigger is a bulk trigger. What is the guarantee that you only insert one record? We have done if I'm right, if you remember well, we have done account, contact, quote, opportunity with opportunity line item. Do you remember that? Then how many opportunity items are inserted at a time? We have done an example. Account, contact, opportunity line item we have done. How many opportunity line items you have inserted? More than one?
Yeah.
Okay.
More than
now,
one.
I go with a data loader. If I go with a data loader, how many I am inserting? I may go with more than one. If I go with a data loader, 10,000 or 20,000 records I may insert. Right.
But in that case also, like,
Now,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Now that's what I'm saying. We cannot build a trigger for every one record, one trigger, two triggers, okay, 3 records, another trigger. We cannot build it like that. That's the reason trigger says I will consider everything as group of record. Let it be a group. Okay, in the group it may be 1 record or 2 record or 3 record. You will take every trigger as a bulk trigger, write the logic on a bulk. Now if there's only 1 record, loop will run only once. 10 record, loop will run 10 times. Okay. So by default, every trigger should be considered as bulk trigger. That means you should assume that you're working on a group of records. That's what I'm trying. If I create a 4 customers through a web service program, then what will happen? 4 records are inserted at a time. Trigger.new will contain 4 records. If I insert through data loader, 100 records I'm inserting, trigger.new will contain 100 records. If I'm inserting the data using a ETL tool, 10,000 records I'm uploading, I'll get trigger.new as 10,000. So we cannot build a logic separately for every context. So every trigger is considered as bulk trigger. Every trigger is by default considered as bulk trigger. Right, Amma? That is the reason. We should always assume it is a list of record. Right, Amma? Okay.
Yeah, but actually, but I got the point. But when you say the opportunity line items, let's say we are creating 10, so this trigger will trigger whenever that each record is created, right?
Now you're not trying to understand my point. Now, can you guarantee that always I insert one record? Now you're only looking at this way of insertion, boss. You're only looking at this way of insertion. You're only looking at this way. Now I want to insert the record like this. Then tell me what will happen. Now look at my requirement. Now tell me how many records I'm inserting. Now this also DML option shown, you know. How many records I'm inserting?
2 records, but
now see, now you have to understand, our trigger should be ready to handle any number of records at a time. Okay, trigger is fired only once. Logic in the trigger is fired a number of times. Now you need to get the point this. When you are setting 3 record 1, record 2, record 3, record 1000. It is not that trigger is fired for every record. Trigger is not fired for every record. Trigger is fired only once.
okay.
Called once. Logic in the trigger, when trigger is called only once, in that trigger.new will contain 1000 records. Logic is running 1000 times, but trigger is called only once. You inserted 1000 record. Trigger will not be called 1000 times for every record. Trigger will not be called separately for every record. Trigger is called only once. Logic in the trigger will run for 1000 times. Now why? All the records which you inserted, they are in trigger.new. Trigger.new is a list which will hold all the records which you are inserting now. It is not record 1, trigger 1, record 2, trigger 2, record 3, trigger 3. No. Okay, you are inserting 1 record or 1000 record, trigger is called only once. All the records which you are inserting, they are in trigger.new. Run the logic on trigger.new. So trigger is not fired separately for every record. Trigger is fired once. All the new record which you are inserting, they are in trigger.new. Logic will run on trigger.new. Right? Are you clear about it? So if 1000 records are inserted, how many times the trigger is called? Once. How the logic is performed? On 1000. How? All the 1000 records are in trigger.new. That's why I told every trigger is a bulk trigger. I hope you got the story. Right, Amma? Let's move on to the next point. Okay. We are trying to handle the next context here. My requirement is, listen to the context. I want to share the record programmatically. We have seen sharing rules. Like OWDs we have seen, role hierarchies we have seen, Apex, okay, we have seen manual sharing, owner-based sharing, creditor-based sharing, territory-based sharing, all this stuff we have seen. But my point here is, I want to share the record. With whom you want to share the record? Now, at the time of creating a customer, now this is a customer. In the customer, add a field. Let's have a opportunity. So, who created this opportunity? add some agent. Now, whenever a new opportunity is created, whichever the agent has created this opportunity, the record should be shared with you. Now I'll say otherwise agent manager. Now, are you sure whom I am going to select as my agent manager? Are you sure whom I am going to select? I don't know. I will select any one of my agent manager. Boss, whenever a new opportunity is created, if I select anyone as my agent manager, record should be shared with you. Do you know whom I am going to select? I am not sure. So whomever I select with that person, the record should be shared. This I cannot do with manual share. This I cannot do with owner-based share. This I cannot do with creditor-based share. Right? I want to share this record with that particular user. I want to share this record only with that particular user. Now what I need to do? I want to go for sharing. But the existing sharing rules are not suitable to me. I am going for dynamic sharing. So how do you share the record programmatically? Now my requirement is whenever a new opportunity is created, whichever the agent has created, okay, when an opportunity is created, whomever I am selecting as my agent manager, the record should be shared with that agent manager. Now I want to share the record with a particular person or a particular group as per my choice. Provided if the value is entered. The value may be entered, may not be entered. If I enter the value, record should be shared. If I don't enter, leave it. If I provide anyone as my account manager, share the record with the account manager. Otherwise, don't share. Now this is a dynamic operation. We cannot do it with the regular sharing rules. First, the thumb rule. When can I go for sharing rules? When can I go to sharing rules? Sharing rules are applied only when whatever is public read or private. If it is already read and write, there is no need of going for a. If it is already read and write, no need of sharing rules. Everyone can see everyone's data. I will go for the sharing rules only if the whatever is private or public read. If it is a private or public read, few people can't see the data. I can share the data with them. Now, if you want to go for the sharing rule, we have to ensure that the current user don't have access to the record. Now, what are the possibilities we have? What are the possibilities? Whatever should be private or public read. In the profile, we should ensure that the concerned user don't have access to opportunity view all, modify all. Where was my opportunity? Somewhere here. View all, modify. Why? If I give that, he is going to get a complete access. Right about it. Okay. Now go back to the story. Go to the Wilson. Check out which opportunities he was able to see. He was not able to see any opportunity. Why? Whatever is private. The second one is profile level. I have removed the access. So he was not able to see any data. Now what is the context? Whenever a new opportunity is created, and if opportunity agent manager is not blank, then share the record with the concerned person. That was my requirement. Now, any sharing rule that you write, they will be internally stored in an object. For every object internally, there is a standard object called share object. Now, if I have account object, all the sharing rules on the account will be stored in account share. We have a contact object, all the sharing rules on the contact will be on contact share. Opportunity object, opportunity share. If it is a customer object, loan object, payment object, account object, account share, contact object, contact share, opportunity object, opportunity share. If it is a custom object, customer underscore share, loan underscore share, payment underscore share. Is that was clear for everyone? The next one. If it is an account object, account share. Account share is a standard object. Now, if I want to insert a record, it's a DML, right? Account share is a object. In that, what fields are there? Account ID, ID of the account which you want to share. Then I have user or group ID. Whom you want to share. ID of the user or a group with whom you want to share. Account access level. Now, what type of access? Then we add account ID, user or group ID, account access level, ROCAS. ROCAS means reason for manual. Right. The same story. If I go with opportunity, opportunity ID, user or group ID, opportunity access level, if it is a contact, tell me what will be the fields? Contact ID, opportunity, sorry, contact access level, account ID, user or group ID, account access level, ROCAS, opportunity ID, user or group ID, opportunity access level, ROCAS. So some of the fields are fixed, some of the fields are based on the object. Object name followed by ID, object access level, right? So every object has the corresponding fields. Now if it is a custom object, customer share, this is going to be parent ID. Parent ID means ID of the record. User or group ID. Access level. ROCAS. loan share, parent ID, user or group ID, access level, payment share, parent ID, customer share, loan share, payment share, account, contact, opportunity. I hope everyone is good with this. Clear for everyone? Account, contact, opportunity, loan share, customer share, payment share. I hope everyone is good with this.
Custom object record ID is called as parent ID.
Parent ID. For all custom object, it is a parent ID. For all the standard object name followed by ID. Now overall, how many fields are there? 4 fields. One field is ID of the record. Second is with whom you are sharing. Third one is what type of access. Fourth one is ROCAS. I hope everyone is good. Like this, every object has the corresponding share object. Okay. Now what I want to do, I want to share the record. Move on to the trigger. Now, when you want to share, is it before or after? Now, if you want to share a record, is it a before trigger or after trigger? Why after? Unless the record is there, I cannot share it. First, the record should be there, then only I can share. After saving the record, I will share the record. Okay. Now, first, create a which the user will see. Then get all the new records. Take one by one record. Right. Take one by one opportunity. Then what we are doing? If OP dot agent if opportunity agent manager is not equal to blank, that means I selected somebody as my manager. Then I'll be sharing the record. OS dot opportunity ID. Then opportunity user or group ID with whom you want to share. It's not necessary to get this because we are trying to share the record with manager, right? With whom I want to share? I want to share the record with opportunity agent. Who is the agent manager? Is a user. ID of the manager. Now it's a lookup field. In the lookup field, what will be there, Amma? ID will be there. Now look up to user. So user ID is there. Then OS dot opportunity access level. OS dot row cause. Share dot add OS. Then I'm doing insert. So what I've done here? ID of the opportunity. Right. ID of the opportunity. ID of the manager. And user access. And the region for share. Opportunity ID, user ID, opportunity access level, row cost, and insert. I hope everyone is good with this. Now what was that? If the opportunity agent manager is not equal to null, share the record with that guy. Share the record with that guy. Now how the sharing rules are defined? Opportunity share, opportunity ID, user or group ID, opportunity access level, and row cost. New opportunity is created. Now look at the sharing and see. Record was shared with Wilson. I gave manual. You're able to see with whom the record was created. Record was created with Wilson with the read-only access. What is the reason for sharing? Manual sharing. Is that was clear for everyone? I can go to the user and see whether he is able to access the record because the sharing is showing that he is able to see. Okay, it is enough. So what we are doing, boss, if you want to share the record programmatically, this is how we can do it. Now let me give one more context. Now,
Satish, one question here.
yes.
Here we are not using SQL query, though we are using after context.
One point.
And we are applying
Now, 1 minute. What is the use of SQL query? I am inserting a new opportunity line item. What is the need of SQL query here? Here I need a SQL query if I want to modify the opportunity. Am I trying to modify an opportunity here? I am trying to create one
No,
change
no, no.
record in another table. Then what is the use of SQL query? Now,
Yeah.
trigger.new, the data in the trigger.new can be used, no problem. If you want to modify the data in trigger.new, whichever the data is there in trigger.new, the data if you want to modify, I need to go for a SQL. Nowhere I am modifying the data in trigger.new. Now I am using the data in trigger.new. By using the data in trigger.new, I am trying to create a child record. If you try to modify the data in trigger.new, I require a SQL query and DML operation. Here, I am not changing opportunity. I am not changing the data in the opportunity. I am trying to create a child for an opportunity. Right, Amma?
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Right. Any other query?
Satish, one more question. Yeah. So I just quickly logged into this SQL workbench and I queried from this the share record, but I cannot see any values in the record. So why is that?
You should hold at least for the updation. Unless if you don't give the time for the updation, they will not be able to see.
Okay.
Let us see. I got a user, Wilson.
Mhm.
Then we had opportunity. Right? This is a record what I create. Who is the person who logged in? Wilson.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is currently what you have done. How about the existing opportunity records?
Will not be.
So if
I removed no. Now I told sharing rules quite boss. Sharing rules are applied only when the ODBD is private, right? Or public read. I removed the access. That's the reason you are not able to see.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
sharing rules you can define it only if ODBD is private. The moment I keep ODBD is private, no one can see others' data. By default, it's a blank. Or else I have to create public read. Then you will be able to see, but you will have read access. I made ODBD as private, so other users are not able to see my data. Then I am giving a sharing rules to share the data. Okay, boss.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Now, yeah. Let's move on to the next story. So
Sir,
here,
sir, in which,
yeah, tell me.
sir, one question. Yeah, in which case we do share with, this
See.
account share and team member, and both can see the record, right?
See, now sharing a record is different. Being a team member is a different. If you are a team member, when I give a sharing, I can share with the particular person whomever you selected. Okay. But when you say team member, you are giving a role to him. You are giving a role to him. He is going to play the role. When you say sharing, he can access the record. Now it's not only accessing the record, he has a role to play. Then we give him as a team member. The point. Sharing is team members are available only on account and opportunity, not on every object. Sharing can be done on every object. Right. Sharing can be done on every object, whereas the team members can be created on only account and opportunity. Right, Amma? Got it?
Thank you, sir.
Now, let us move on to the next story. Now, here I have one more context. My context was I want to submit the record for approval. Now, generally, approval process, what we do, we log in, click on a button, submit for approval, record is getting submitted. Now, I don't want the record to be manually submitted by me. Whenever a particular condition is met, automatically I want the record to be submitted for approval. Now, whenever I create a record, whenever the condition is met, automatically the record itself should be submitted for approval. I don't want to manually interfere and submit the record. So I want the record to be submitted for approval programmatically. Now, whenever I create a record, when a particular condition is met, automatically submit the record for approval. Whenever I create a record where it meets a particular condition, automatically record should be submitted for approval. Then what we want? Submission of the record for approval programmatically. How can you submit the record for an approval programmatically is the context. Okay. So before going to that, let us do few examples on this. Start building these examples, everyone. Let us start with the basic examples. New opportunity. Start doing this example. Whenever a new opportunity is created with a stage name, closed one, make Wilson as opportunity team member. Make Wilson as opportunity team member. So what will be the probable fields on this? Tell me. Fields are opportunity ID. User ID. Now create this example. Whenever a new opportunity is created with the stage name closed one, make Wilson as opportunity member. Make an attempt of creating it, boss. Now, which trigger was that? After or before? Which trigger was that? After. Now, after it's a trigger. Check out. Take one by one record. Check out the status. Done. Done. Any assistance required? It's only a DML operation. Straight away DML operation. It is a straight away DML operation. Only thing is you need to give corresponding fields. ID of the opportunity. ID of the opportunity. Then we need to know ID of the user. Then we need to know ID of the user. Done, boss. Now let me write the code for you. People who couldn't write, let me write the code for you. Now, look at the story. After insert, first get the user. Opportunity, I need a list of records. Then I'm giving here op dot stage name, if opportunity stage name equal to close to 1, sorry, you are supposed to get opportunity team member, right? Opportunity team member. Opportunity ID. Opportunity dot access level. Opportunity, opportunity access level. Then right, boss? I hope everyone is good with this. Clear for everyone? Similarly, practice 1 or 2 sharing rules on this. You'll be understanding the format of writing the insert ticket. So tomorrow we'll see update triggers, and we'll see with the help of update triggers, we'll also practice dynamic approval process. How to submit the record for approval, how to get the records, approve the records programmatically, how to submit the records programmatically. This context we'll see. Okay. Now again, I'm making one point clear for you. These are all concepts. If you know conceptually, they're good. But if you want to write a better logics, you are supposed to practice more number of use case, okay, more number of snippets, okay, logics on list, set, map, SOQL, DML. These 5 combinations only will make entire programming. List, set, map, SOQL, DML, wrapper. List, set, map, SOQL, DML, wrapper. Only this combination, how best logics you can write with this combination, only that will decide your knowledge on the program. Because this is only syntax. Trigger is a syntax, batchfx is a syntax, but internal logic is defined with list, set, map. So practice more on that, you get the strong knowledge and development. Right, boss? Chalo. That's all from my end for the day.